Okay, class. That's for everybody that's over 45, will understand that. Reverend Miller, would you come forward, please?
Right by the film park.
Welcome to this great celebration as we dedicate two symbols, two benefits to our community. The flagpole with the American flag, which constantly reminds us of the sacrifice that freedom requires, and never forget what it's already cost. And our new pedestrian bridge, a benefit and an addition for safety in our community. We'll start this ceremony with prayer and the raising of the American flag. Would you all please stand? Our gracious Father, we thank you for letting us live in such a place as this. We thank you for your grace and generosity towards us, that we have the resources and, Lord, the cooperation to partner on projects that benefit us all. God, we ask for your blessing. We ask for your approval for everything that we do. But mostly, Lord, today we give thanks. And we do so in the name of our Lord Jesus. Amen. Amen. Captain of the Guard, prepare the colors. Right face. Present. Hard. Forward. Hard. Left face. Forward. March. Left. 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 Right. Left. Left, right, left. Go left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, right, left. All out, reform, march. Right face. Form up. Hook. Right forward. Follow left, forward, march. Left, march. Detail. Hook. Left, face. Detail. Colors. Close colors.
set, hard. Right over. Carry on.
We watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
American Legion Honor Guard was assisted by our own Josh Good from Montezuma Rimrock Fire Department. You may be seated. Our keynote speaker, Thomas Thurman, District 2 Supervisor, has been a resident of Yavapai County since 1969. Happily married for 41 years with 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and last year became foster parents to 2 beautiful girls. His public service background prior to being elected included being president of Yavapai County Contractors Association, Businessman of the Year with Rotary Club, and served as chairman of Yavapai County Planning and Zoning Commission. His construction experience consists of 26 years as a commercial and residential contractor. He served 3 terms as a Yavapai County Board of Supervisor. He's currently the chairman of the State Rural Transportation Advocacy Council, the NACOG Transportation Policy Advisory Committee. Most recently, he was honored by his fellow supervisors to serve as the liaison for Legislative Policy Committee for the County Supervisors Association and as representative for the Verde Valley Regional Economic Organization and the Verde Watershed Association. In his spare time, he's working on the trail building process for the Black Canyon Trail and looks forward to developing and extending it through the Verde Valley and literally connecting both sides of the mountains. Your supervisor, Tom Thurman.
Who's that guy? I thought I was the one that cleaned up after everybody left. I don't know where that came from. Thank you, Ken. Pastor Miller, I appreciate what you've done here. Before I make my speech, I would like to thank this community for volunteerism. You know, to work on these projects has been a long time coming, and I know a lot of you have been pushing me to do this for a long time, and I'm happy that we finally, that I finally twisted some arms from the other supervisors, and we got the funding to do this. There's two individuals that approached me with this suggestion for the flagpole here at Sycamore Park, and also the bridge. These two individuals are committed and have enthusiasm to make this happen. Candy Hammond from the Beaver Creek Historical Society and John Maddox from American Legion Post 135. If you two could come up to the podium. We're also fortunate to have here is the Beaver Creek Kiwanis, the Beaver Creek Community Action Team, the Beaver Creek Trails Coalition, Lake Montezuma Property Owners Association. I'll tell you right now in Yavapai County, with some of the impacts that you've probably seen on TV by the legislature, it's tough for rural Arizona to be able to make it, to be honest with you. And so it's volunteerism that I'm seeing out of communities like this that really make the difference. This makes the difference in your community. Please remember those that are volunteering to help them. I remember years ago when I had another friend of mine when my children were coming up and they were younger, and we lived in Dewey at the time, and there was no Little League. So him and I started the Dewey Humboldt, re-established the Dewey Humboldt Little League, and it was funny, I kind of cut my teeth on that, finding out what it's like to have a lot of people complain and not help. And I'll tell you, this community goes out of its way to help, and my hat's off to you for that. We also have some vandals now and then. So, you know, if you see something going on here at the park, I think you saw some graffiti the other day on the big sycamore up front. They did get it off, thankfully, but yeah, we've got to be real careful, and I believe Lieutenant Martin is here. Thank you very much, Lieutenant, for coming, and you're welcome to say something if you want. Sure. Come on, you protect this community.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, you are aware of the vandalism. We're aware of the vandalism. If you guys see anything, obviously, give us a call. If you don't know our administrative number, it is 928-771-3260. If you just even have some information on it. A lot of times, crimes like this, you know, rumors will start to spread around afterwards. If you guys hear something, you know, we'll follow up with it. A lot of times, you know, you think your complaints might fall on deaf ears, but I do listen, I do hear it. Sometimes it just takes us a little while to act. I know there's some other big news in the neighborhood. Obviously, there was a homicide down the street yesterday. I'm sure you guys have seen the press release. I can't really comment on it too much more than that because there is an active investigation, and person of interest still is at large. So if anyone has information on that, please give us a call. It occurred at the RV park on Beaver Creek, next to the across from the fire station, or just up from the fire station. It isn't anything. I mean, it appears to be an isolated incident. It's not. You know, both parties knew each other and stuff, so there's not any danger to the rest of the public other than this person still at large. So. If there's any other questions for me, I'd answer them real quickly, but if not, thank you, Carmen. Yes.
Okay, where's my certificates? And with that, Beaver Creek Historical Society. Would you like to say a few things?
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the president of the Beaver Creek Preservation and Historical Society. And so with that, I wanted to give you a little bit of history of the flagpole. I am the owner of Candy's Creekside Cottage, and John Maddox is a very dear friend of mine. He came into the store one day and said, "My church that I belong to has a flagpole, and I bet you can find a place where it should go." So I thought about it. I pontificated for a while on that. And I happened to live down Beaver Vista, so I drove to the end of the road one day and I thought, you know, for the past 16 years I've been lining up for the Beaver Creek parade right here And wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a flag right here? So then I called Supervisor Thurman and organized a meeting, and he brought Marlene out, and so we met, we talked about it, we paced out, we looked at locations for where the flagpole would go. And would you know it that Marlene and Supervisor Thurman emailed me within 2 weeks, and the ball started rolling. And I said to Supervisor Thurman when we met, I said, I would just like the flag up before the 4th of July. Well, a week later we had the permitting process going. Thanks to Supervisor Thurman and Marlene for their hard work and dedication. And then, I don't know if anybody knows how much work goes into putting up a flagpole, but there's a lot more than you think. And so I've learned a lot in the process, and I have a few people that I'd like to thank. My technical assistant, Chris Schaefer, always helps me out whenever I can't mastermind a problem or can't drill through something, he can. And then when we got to the point of this is all funded through volunteerism, and the Beaver Creek Preservation and Historical Society got involved. We already have another flag lined up for when this one fails. We've got the next one already lined up. And the funding for all the different stuff that goes into the flagpole has been funded through the Beaver Creek Preservation and Historical Society. But one of the processes was erecting the pole. So there was all this construction work down here, so I went down and I found Joe Ray, and he had all of this equipment, so I asked Joe Ray, hey, do you think that your contracting company could help us erect this pole so we could save some costs in the erection process? So sure enough, he said, I'd love to do that. And so I want to also thank Dwayne from Yavapai County. He was critical, way in the back there, critical in helping us get all of the permits processed and actually helping us erect the pole and get all of the conduit and various things, the concrete. And then I want to thank Flags Galore and More in Prescott for helping us with the proper rope and the proper attachments, and it won't clank for the neighbors when the wind blows, so there's special things like that. But if I could have the Beaver Creek Preservation and Historical Society that's here stand up. I want you to notice there's a whole bunch of them here today. So between the Beaver Creek Preservation and Historical Society and John Maddox and his American Legion Post, we will be taking care of this flag. So John, you want to come up and say a few words? Okay, so on behalf of John, I would also like to thank Home Depot, who donated the paint, the Calvary Chapel in Camp Verde.
I don't like talking. I know Calvary Chapel over in Camp Verde had a flagpole sitting on the side for the 4.5 years that I've been there, and I tried to give it away one other time, and they ended up going with a different type of flagpole. So I found a golden opportunity to get rid of it. You know, go to Candy, she'll take anything, you know. But I would like to thank, Pastor Scott Evans from Calvary Chapel in Camp Verde to allow us to have this pole. Home Depot did give us the paint. It's paint, and it's some really good paint. It takes a lot of coats of paint to paint a real good paint on a flagpole, I'm going to tell you. American Legion Post 135 out of Cornville, #1 for what they've done today. The group that was with me, they did a great job, and I'm really proud of them. I'm the Sergeant at Arms for the post. You know, they just really, we're going to be supporting this. Both the American Legion and Candy, between myself personally and Candy, are the responsible parties for keeping the flag, making sure the flag is decent, replacing it when necessary, lowering the flag. I'm on the governor's call list for when the flag is to be brought down to half staff. Of course, we'll have it down at holidays. And so either myself or Candy will be responsible for making sure that happens. And obviously we would like to thank this community for receiving this flagpole, and for, we think it's going to just, for years to come, it's just going to be, you know, showing the patriotism in this community, the pride in this community. And so I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. With that, one of the items that we're also talking about today is the bridge. Yay! And it is not a bridge to nowhere. Byron Jaspers will be up here from our road department in just a minute. We'll be talking about what we're going to do, the continuation of the trail to get to the top of the hill so people are safe. This is the first leg of that. But I'll tell you, there's a woman that lives around here, I'm going to tell you, pushes me and pushes me and pushes me. Janet, you want to come up here a minute? We're going to do the property owners. By the way, all these certificates I'm giving out today, we asked them if they want their name on it. Every one of them said no. They don't want their name on it. They want their association on it. So I appreciate that. That's true volunteerism. So would you like to say a few things?
I'll see if I can talk louder. On behalf of the Lake Montezuma Property Owners Association, for this wonderful and hopefully award-winning safety project, I would like to thank Tom Thurman and the Board of Supervisors, the Yavapai County Public Works, and Yavapai County Facilities. We would like to thank the design firms of Atkins Loho and O'Leedon Engineering, and the contracting firm J. Bannicky Construction. Thank you so much from the bottoms of our hearts. At this time, I'd like to introduce the current Property Owners Association board members. Vice President, and please stand up and wave, or if you're already standing, wave. Vice President Jim Bowser. Jim is there. There he is. Secretary Bill Edwards. Treasurer Ellen Spicone. It's Ellen's wife's birthday. She has other things to do today. And members Lisa Taylor. I see two former members sitting side by side, Karen Crepini and Virginia Bartling. Please stand up. Do we have any other former board members here? The desire for the pedestrian emergency access bridge goes back to last century. However, starting in 2005, LMPOA began to actively seek solutions for long-stated community needs. When the Beaver Creek Kiwanis started a transportation committee in that year, we were on board. 14 volunteers from around the community worked to get input and did an informal public survey at Beaver Creek School. When the community plan team collected a written survey from the community, the expressed wishes continued to be the same. So for 10 years, we have sat in a lot of meetings, participated in a lot of planning groups in order to keep in place our requests before Yavapai County in their thoughts and in their plans. And my bottom can attest personally to all those meetings. The bridge is the result of that effort, in addition to the efforts of everyone in the community who took the time to complete those surveys, write letters, attend meetings, make phone calls. Many, many did these things and more, which is why ultimately the bridge was constructed. The bridge itself is part of our plan, which the supervisor has just mentioned. The Beaver Creek Trails Coalition, formerly Montezuma Rimwalk and Garrett Trails, has worked to improve the shoulders of Montezuma Avenue and to make walking safer. Former and longtime President Ben Stafford is the member of the group that you saw doing the mowing and often putting up the roadwork signs. In April, bids will go out for the overlay on that road that will bring improvement to the shoulders as requested and a path along Montezuma Avenue to the bridge, at least park to park. I saw a couple of members of the Trails Coalition. Please stand and wave your hands. There's Standish back there. He's our project. process, the Beaver Creek Action Team, chaired by Jeanette Estes. Jeanette, please stand. Has written letters and visited with officials in constant support of the project. Superintendent Principal Karen Ward, I saw her come in. She sang, she left. We'll thank her later. Fire Chief Terry Keller, he's at our funeral today. And Dwight Davelin's YCSO team, some of whom are here, have been behind us all the way with us. And on a sadder note, I'd like to thank those before us. 3 in particular, though there were many. Thank you to Bob McLaren, Bob McDonald, and Bill Larson, who have asked for, but will be remembered for helping to promote the construction of the safety bridge and the continued movement for improvement to the S curve leading up the hill. The engineering talent that you see assembled here will be putting their skills to work solving that problem in the near future. Thank you to everyone here for attending and being part of the dedication ceremony.
I would be remiss if I didn't add, I know some of the facilities folks were mentioned here, but when now that the bridge is being turned over, it actually goes to our facilities department, and what they do is actually they're the park people. They do a lot of things, but they're also our park people. And so none of this will be kept up if it wasn't for Kenny Van Kuren back there. We appreciate it, Kenny. With that, we'll bring our Byron Jaspers. He's an original county engineer, and now he's the head of the road.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a few things about the bridge and acknowledge some of the people that helped build the bridge. But first, I would just like to say that in a time when funding is decreasing and the needs are increasing, it's essential that the community pull together with a consensus on the project that's most important to them. And without the clear voice of the community and the efforts of Tom Thurman, this project would not have become a reality. So you guys should be proud of yourself. Thank you. I mean, you deserve a lot of respect. Okay, I'll go through a little timeline for you here. This project was funded mostly in 14-15, and in last spring we awarded an engineering contract to Atkins Engineers, and they did the preliminary design, and Jim Martin is here from Atkins. He's right there. Our leading is here from the leading structural engineers. He did the structural work, did a great job. And in October, the project was awarded to Bannockey Construction. And from Bannockey, we have Don Davis, estimator. He's way in the back. I told everybody they had to smile big and wave when I told them. Okay, Lonnie Ferguson, project manager. And Joe Ray, he's the project superintendent. Thank you guys. You did a great job. Also, I would like to thank some county personnel. Eric Stewart is our construction manager. He's back there. Mike Willett, the assistant public works director. There he is. Corky Hill was a project inspector, and Christian De Leon was also a project inspector. But they all did a great job, and we all thank them very much. Just a few details on the bridge. The bridge is 163 feet long, weighs about 96,000 pounds. That doesn't include the deck. It was fabricated in Minnesota in one of the worst winters on record, and was put together, and then Bannockey went up and inspected it. They took it apart into 3 pieces. They brought it down, and many of you saw it stored here on Beaver Vista. They put it together. We ran it out in the middle of the night and set it there, and it fit perfectly. So it was a great job. Yes, and I would like to thank the community for their patience during this whole project. It was great. You guys were all good. And just a couple other things. The contract was $557,000 for this bridge, and I think we're going to hit right on the contract, so it all came out really well. And I have all the weights here. No engineer worth his salt has a weight and the unit price. So it doesn't multiply it out. So it's $1.87 a pound for that bridge.
How much is the scrap value if it fails?
And in the future, we're going to connect up some of the pathways. We have some money to work on Sweetwater, which is the next street up to the north, up to the west, the Lookout, and over to the post office. So we'll be working on widening that and putting widened shoulders in there. And we have the money in this year for an overlay on Lake Montezuma Avenue, so we'll be working on the pathway from the bridge south down to Russell Wash. So we have some good projects coming up for you guys too. And finally, I'd like to thank the emergency responders that were here when we moved the bridge, the sheriff's office and the fire department. We really appreciate your help. Everything went well, and with that, I'll turn it over to them.
You know, we had, does any of the contractors and engineers, did they want to say a few words? You just want to get paid, right? Fine.
Get up there, Joe.
Wesley Draws, he's 10 to 12 years old. We're not sure how old he is. He was supposed to be here. Did Wesley show? Did Wesley show?
No.
No, okay. Well, he was one of them that is going to benefit from the safety of this bridge. A lot of the, here's another one here. You want to say a few words? Have you been on the bridge yet?
No.
Good. You're not supposed to be yet.
Good answer.
Right answer.
When I was running for election a couple of years ago, and I came down here, and I was coming around the bridge, and I saw a young lady with a baby pushing it, and the cars are just, you know how they are, they're going flying by, and I said, what the heck? Really? This has to be done. And so I started pushing then. We tried to get some grant funding. That fell through. One thing after another fell through. And I finally talked Byron Jaspers into putting it on the board, and I lobbied the board members, and they were graceful enough to approve this. So I want to give them credit. Most of them, I think some of them, you know, they're down at the funeral. Senator Steve Pierce's boy passed away, and the funeral was today. Plus there's other things going on. So I do appreciate, though, them helping with me to try to get this done, and it is done. So what we're going to do now is finish this part, but I have Mr. Warren is over in the park who's been making hot dogs the last few hours, so when you're done, get your tail over there and have some hot dogs. Okay? And with that, let's carefully, we'll go across the street and cut the ribbon.
You have to leave the rope up.
How you doing, Steven?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing good, thank you. I know, I can't believe it.
Because you run the front. Our men is trying to get everybody on the bridge behind the river. What do you think? On the bridge behind the river. What do you think?
There you go.
I don't know. I've got it tied to the rope, so I got it.
I wish you would have said something about.
I know. Jerry.
Well, it could be.
Down the rail, doing it again.
Okay, what do you want to keep it on the string and then?
Yeah, then
All right, hold on. Okay.
didn't have long enough ribbon. I want the contractors, engineers, and our road department folks, facilities, and those neighbors and the neighborhood community associations folks that helped on this and are going to be helping on. Please come back here.
You're part of this game. You really are. This is yours. Come on, Joe.
I don't know what I'm watching for, but
Don't be looking around.
You got your company shirt on and everything, man.
here they come.
Jerry, Jerry.
Okay.
You've got the real one. Lisa's on the board. She wants me to make sure she gets in.
Just hold it 2 hands and
Come out of the shade, Lisa.
You guys should step in a little closer to get off the road. Go right in.
I'm trying to get her to come out of the shade.
Oh.
She's too busy taking pictures of us.
Get those scissors. Woohoo! 1,
2, 3.
Are you done? Go with your knees across.
All right, now we can walk on the bridge.
Yeah.
Cameron's first. He's
Go get some hot dogs.
Can't wait to walk.
sorry.
Walk across.
to be honest, I've seen lots of pictures.
No diving from the bridge. I'm sorry.
Really? Oh, yeah. I'm trying.
He reminds me you want to walk?
Myron. What part of Minnesota was this built in?
Alexandria, pretty busy. Yes. He does a great job.
Your card. Your card.
Whoops, sorry.
They did some work down below it too.
This is an advertisement for your next job, right?
You bet.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, it did.
But if you didn't have that, you know, everybody, every teenager.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they're looking for ways right now to, meditate.
And every 7-year-old will think
So you know, are you gonna watch? You'll watch that, or is it just like load this stuff to kick in?
Well, I can't hear anyway, so.
You know, it's really nice.
There you are. This is kind of cool because you can take
There's not a no fishing sign.
Honk, honk, honk. Teenagers. Look at the view and look. What is this?
I forget it.
Calling me Janice.
Going back now. I've been all the way.
It'll rest. It'll rest. And
Excuse me.
want one of you by the flag. Oh, you got your little shirt. You little darling.
I made it to the end.
Why did you go up first?
I didn't get him.
I'm resisting the urge to photo bomb.
Did you get a close-up of Oscar?
When you were using scissors and you're
You put on the selfie stick, huh?
Your bridge, man. Uh-huh.
He hates that. He doesn't like no.
Yeah. It's on camera. Don't worry about it. You can play it over and over now.
Danny would like to take a picture of you and Jim.
Okay.
Let's take it from this side.
Yeah, okay.
Are you still filming? Maybe a little bridge, maybe a little.
true adventures. That's what that is.
Oh, Jared, yeah.
Where do you live?
Okay.
Oh, they're cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Nice looking group, huh?
Yeah. Very handsome.
Yep.
Now we go back.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can enter for some awards, maybe.
We are proposing Billy.
Ice, when I saw you,
He's been swimming.
Has he been swimming? Somebody been swimming?
That's so pretty. How nice that looks. A lot of rushing through and makes you want to go in it.
You want a hot dog, Bella?
Short.